Djokovic finally revealed what he really thinks about Alcaraz, withdrawing from Madrid.
And then you have obviously other young players that are definitely going to challenge them.
Carlos Alcaraz's unexpected departure from the tournament bracket has suddenly opened up possibilities for other contenders eyeing the championship, a situation that appears set to continue for a while. It's April 21st, Madrid is abuzz, the courts are active, the audience is roaring, yet the dominant figure of this event, arguably its greatest champion, is conspicuously absent. Alcaraz has withdrawn, stating his profound disappointment at not competing in his home tournament in Madrid due to a right wrist injury, marking his second consecutive year missing this significant event. While his announcement last Friday was impactful, it wasn't his absence that truly ignited online discussions. Instead, it was Djokovic's simultaneous withdrawal from the same tournament on the same day, seemingly with similar discretion, that truly captivated attention. Yet, beneath that quiet departure, concealed within a solitary social media update, Djokovic eventually disclosed his true sentiments regarding Alcaraz's withdrawal from the Madrid Open.
Won't follow.
Yes, there was domination obviously from Rafa on clay or Roger on grass.
This significant insight was hidden within a detail that most enthusiasts likely overlooked without a second thought. Djokovic, a three-time champion in Madrid, 2011, 2016, 2019, possesses ample experience to grasp the profound implications when a top-tier athlete like Alcaraz repeatedly pulls out of major competitions due to physical ailments. His perspective delves into areas that conventional media outlets typically avoid. This viewpoint is entirely novel. No one has articulated it quite like this before. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, ensure you hit that button immediately, as you'll want to absorb every detail of this comprehensive analysis. Djokovic's pronouncement reshapes the entire narrative. At 38 years old, Novak Djokovic boasts an unparalleled 24 Grand Slam victories and 3 Madrid titles, securing them in 2011, 2016, and 2019. His career in professional tennis spans a greater duration than Carlos Alcaraz's entire life. When an athlete of such stature chooses to comment on a competitor, a major event, or an evolving trend he's keenly observed, it warrants immediate attention. You don't merely skim past such statements. You pause and you absorb every word, recognizing that Djokovic's words are never spoken without consideration. The critical question then becomes, what precisely did he utter? And more crucially, why does this hold such immense significance right now, amidst the 2026 clay court season? To truly grasp the gravity of Djokovic's commentary, one must first examine Carlos Alcaraz's recent trajectory over the past month. His Madrid withdrawal narrative isn't confined to April 17th. Indeed, he also missed the event last year. This story begins much earlier, originating with a championship campaign that, while outwardly spectacular, was subtly inflicting damage upon his physique. Alcaraz made it to the Monte Carlo final, where he rigorously challenged Jannik Sinner in a thrilling championship showdown. His performance was exceptional, captivating the audience and dominating highlight reels. However, a crucial detail went largely unnoticed amidst the acclaim. Alcaraz was already experiencing discomfort throughout that tournament, though not severe enough to halt his participation. It served as a clear cautionary signal that he ultimately chose to disregard. Following Monte Carlo, he journeyed to Barcelona, his native city, cherished by his fans and host to his favored tournament. There he confided in the press, revealing a telling insight into his current state of mind. "This week is one where I should take a break, but Barcelona is a very special place for me." Despite this inner conflict, he competed, securing victory in his initial match against Otto Virtanen. Yet, his wrist soon issued a more insistent protest than any sentimental connection to a city could overcome. He subsequently withdrew mid-tournament after medical examinations yielded more troubling results than initially feared. The right wrist injury sustained by Carlos Alcaraz, which necessitated a cast, was severe enough to make any continued play an irresponsible gamble. Abruptly, the impending question about his Madrid participation, a key event on the clay court schedule, was resolved even before it was formally posed. He would not be attending. Carlos Alcaraz confirmed his absence from the Mutua Madrid Open for the second year running, expressing deep disappointment about not being able to compete in his home city. This is the very tournament he triumphed in during both 2022 and 2023, his local Masters 1000 event, where Spanish supporters gather in such immense numbers that the Caja Magica transforms from a mere sports arena into a site of celebration, almost a crowning event. His social media declaration was profoundly heartfelt as he conveyed, "Madrid is home, one of the most special places on the calendar for me. That's why it hurts so much not to be able to play here for the second year in a row. It hurts especially not to be in front of my people." This constitutes Alcaraz's perspective, an authentic, understandable, and straightforward account of an injured athlete missing his local competition, eliciting empathy from tennis enthusiasts and seemingly concluding the narrative. However, Djokovic's approach to storytelling is far less conventional. Earlier on that same Friday, hours before Alcaraz's public statement, Djokovic had already announced his own withdrawal from Madrid, citing a shoulder injury. He had been contending with this issue since withdrawing from Monte Carlo and had completely bypassed Miami. His most recent tour appearance was a fourth-round defeat to Jack Draper at Indian Wells in March, marking an extended period away from competitive play. After weeks of silence and recovery, he had missed 3 consecutive Masters 1000 tournaments, Miami, Monte Carlo, and now Madrid. By all accounts, Djokovic's spring 2026 season has been a catastrophic failure on paper, yet he did not retreat into this unfortunate situation without making his presence felt. This crucial aspect of the narrative is largely being overlooked. The significance lies in Djokovic himself, a figure who has witnessed every epoch of this sport, observed Federer masterfully prolong a body whose decline outpaced his talent, and seen Nadal endure an agonizing career-long battle with pain that would have led most athletes to retire. When such an individual offers insights into Alcaraz's evolving physical condition, every word he utters is imbued with the weight of personal experience. He speaks not as a mere analyst or reporter, but as someone who has personally traversed the very challenging path Alcaraz now confronts. During the 2025 Madrid Open, a year prior to this year's installment, Djokovic was on site. Alcaraz had also withdrawn from that specific tournament due to a different injury at the time, prompting Djokovic to discuss the situation during a press conference. His remarks then were so insightful that they resonated with anyone truly paying attention. Djokovic declared Carlos the undeniable star of Madrid among Spanish fans. He noted Alcaraz's Monte Carlo victory that year, followed by another final appearance in Barcelona just 2 days later, before highlighting an aspect many analysts overlooked: the sheer physical demand, the rigorous scheduling, and the evident fact that Alcaraz was pushing his body at a speed destined to incur repercussions. His tone was devoid of anger or arrogance, instead conveying the serene conviction of someone who had witnessed this scenario unfold previously and could predict its subsequent developments with precision. That incident occurred in 2025. Now, in 2026, this alarming pattern has recurred with striking precision. Monte Carlo and Barcelona saw Alcaraz push his limits, this time jeopardizing his wrist rather than his adductor. Madrid is now lost, and while Roland Garros remains the objective, significant uncertainties are accumulating. This is precisely why Djokovic's 2026 pronouncement, which was largely overlooked amidst the wider withdrawal announcements, gains critical importance. Over the last 2 years, Djokovic has commented on Alcaraz on numerous occasions, not through sensationalized snippets, but in candid evaluations of the sport's direction and the capabilities of its players. Throughout these analyses, a consistent and clear theme has emerged. He believes Alcaraz has already achieved the tennis prowess of the Big Three. These are his exact words, not an interpretation. He placed the then 22-year-old Spaniard in the same elite tier as himself, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal when discussing pure on-court skill. This is not a casual commendation from Djokovic. It represents a profound declaration from an athlete holding 24 Grand Slams, possessing exceptionally rigorous standards for defining true greatness. However, the situation becomes more complex here. To assert that someone possesses the tennis ability of the Big Three is distinctly separate from declaring they have the Big Three's physical resilience. It's also entirely different from saying they exhibit the same scheduling prudence. And it's unequivocally distinct from suggesting they possess the long-term physical management skills of that legendary trio. Djokovic has never attributed these qualities to Alcaraz, not even once. The conspicuous absence of such specific commendation, especially from an individual who offers such generous praise in every other aspect, speaks volumes in itself. Consider Djokovic's own career trajectory when his body communicated distress signals. He consistently withdrew from competitions, strategically managing his physical workload. He approached the calendar with an uncompromising focus, always prioritizing Grand Slams above all other tournaments. This strategy often drew criticism, with fans questioning his decision to skip events. Nevertheless, his impressive Grand Slam count serves as undeniable proof of the effectiveness of his disciplined approach. At just 22, Alcaraz has already accumulated 5 Grand Slam titles, a truly astonishing feat. Yet, the recurring pattern of his body faltering at critical junctures during the clay court season presents a conundrum that Djokovic, with his vast experience, is uniquely qualified to interpret. Following the confirmation of both players' withdrawals from Madrid on April 17th, discussions within the tennis community immediately moved beyond the Madrid tournament itself to speculate on the implications for the draw without their presence. The focus swiftly pivoted to Roland Garros, assessing Alcaraz's fitness to defend his title, and whether Djokovic would arrive in Paris in sufficient health to pose a serious challenge. The Italian Open in Rome now stands as the final significant clay court event before Roland Garros commences on May 18th. For both athletes, Rome transcends a mere warm-up. It has become a crucial medical examination, the point at which the tennis world will discover if its most prominent figures will be prepared for the season's most important clay court championship. Djokovic's circumstances carry a distinct gravity. He has not committed to continuing on the ATP Tour beyond the conclusion of 2026. In their official response to his withdrawal, the Madrid tournament organizers issued a statement expressing hope for his return in 2027. This specific wording is telling. One does not phrase such a wish lightly unless the prospect of a different outcome lurks just beneath the surface. This year could potentially be one of Novak Djokovic's final seasons competing at the pinnacle of professional tennis. Consequently, every tournament he now bypasses holds a far greater emotional significance than it did 5 years prior. His decision to sit out Madrid, an event where he boasts 3 titles, where the crowd's energy has been described by him as electric, and where he has historically showcased some of his finest tennis, unequivocally indicates the seriousness of his shoulder injury. His ultimate goal is Roland Garros. He has never achieved both an Olympic gold medal and the French Open title in the same year, though he secured Olympic gold in Paris in 2024. Despite his 3 Roland Garros victories, capturing a 4th French Open at 38, potentially in one of his last full seasons on tour, is the coveted prize for which he is safeguarding all his efforts. This understanding profoundly alters how one interprets his observations regarding Alcaraz. When Djokovic observes Alcaraz's absence from Madrid for a second consecutive year, he isn't perceiving a competitor's decline or silently relishing a potentially easier tournament path in the future. Instead, a figure of his vast experience and keen intellect is witnessing a generational talent confront the identical career-defining crossroads that all elite athletes encounter. His public remarks concerning Alcaraz reveal a profound complexity that extends far beyond mere professional contention. He described Alcaraz as respectful and commended his values, even disclosing that his own son had switched his favorite player from Nadal to Alcaraz. Such sentiments are not those of a rival dismissing a threat. They are the words of a man who recognizes in Alcaraz the very embodiment of what tennis greatness should entail. The underlying concern, however, which Djokovic has been subtly communicating through meticulously chosen words for over a year, revolves around whether Alcaraz's physical condition will permit him to fulfill his immense potential. The intense scheduling demands placed on a Spanish player, with local crowds fervently anticipating his participation in every clay court event like Barcelona and Madrid, are enormous. Alcaraz himself acknowledged in Barcelona that he understood he needed a rest, yet he played regardless and his wrist bore the consequences. Djokovic has never repeated such an error within the same season. When his body transmitted clear signals, he heeded them, safeguarding his Grand Slam aspirations. He was willing to forego Masters titles when necessary, maintaining an almost impeccable track record in this regard throughout his entire career. Therefore, when Djokovic discusses Alcaraz attaining the tennis caliber of the Big Three, the unspoken question lingering beneath his words concerns whether Alcaraz will achieve the same career longevity. This particular disparity, the gulf between possessing extraordinary talent and sustaining a lengthy, injury-free career, is precisely what his Madrid statement subtly alluded to without explicit declaration. Carlos Alcaraz now faces a desperate race against the clock ahead of Roland Garros, with Rome and then Paris being his next scheduled appearances. He urgently requires competitive match play and to regain his rhythm on clay. He must arrive at Roland Garros, a tournament where he is the defending champion with back-to-back titles and 3,000 ranking points to protect, possessing sufficient match sharpness to contend with Jannik Sinner. Sinner currently holds a 390-point lead in the rankings and has been the most consistent player on tour this spring, having won Monte Carlo and as a direct result of that final reclaimed the world #1 spot from Alcaraz. Sinner is presently the top seed and clear favorite to win in Madrid. Should Sinner triumph there, the ranking differential will expand further, leaving Alcaraz to arrive in Paris already at a disadvantage, nursing a wrist injury, and lacking crucial clay court preparation due to missing 2 Masters events. The strain of this predicament is immense, and Djokovic, observing this unfolding drama from the sidelines during his own recovery, with his personal Roland Garros aspirations simmering, he comprehends these intricate dynamics better than almost anyone alive. He has faced the greatest talents across several generations. He witnessed Federer's body begin to dictate terms that his mind was unwilling to accept. He saw Nadal's knees ultimately bring an end to a career his spirit would have gladly prolonged indefinitely. Djokovic understands the profound consequences when physical limitations clash with towering ambitions. His commentary on Alcaraz is not veiled cruelty disguised as flattery. It's something far more unsettling. It represents a candid assessment from an individual who, professionally, has no obligation to shield Alcaraz's feelings, yet chooses to speak with respect, admiration, and a stark acknowledgement of the undeniable truth. The sport's next generational superstar must prioritize self-care before his extraordinary talent is overshadowed by physical fragility. This highlights a unique aspect of existing in the Djokovic era. He rarely needs to vocalize the uncomfortable truths. He crafts his commendations with such precision that the implicit criticisms are inherently understood. His declaration, "He has already reached the tennis level of the big three," speaks with past-tense certainty about Alcaraz's raw talent, but the present-tense silence on his long-term sustainability is equally profound. That very silence is the true message. It's in that unspoken space that Djokovic's genuine thoughts emerge regarding Alcaraz's repeated absences from Madrid and his tendency to push past injury warnings, a caution that a more experienced professional would approach with significantly greater prudence. Whether Alcaraz registers this message, whether his coaching staff comprehends it, or whether internal discussions within the Alcaraz camp are already addressing this specific concern, remains entirely unseen from an external perspective. What is undeniable, however, is the tangible outcome: 2 consecutive withdrawals from Madrid, a significant wrist injury surfacing precisely as the clay season was poised to climax, and a reigning Roland Garros champion now heading to Paris. Without the crucial match experience, his competitors have been steadily accumulating for weeks. Djokovic himself is hardly in a position to preach about maintaining fitness currently, as he is missing his 3rd consecutive Masters 1000 event, with his own physical condition still a work in progress. But the crucial distinction, the one that truly matters, is that Djokovic's absence was a conscious choice. After Indian Wells, he deliberately decided to safeguard his shoulder, bypass the demanding schedule, and ensure he arrives at Roland Garros with a physique prepared to endure 7 grueling Grand Slam matches. Alcaraz, conversely, did not choose to miss Madrid. His body made that decision for him in Barcelona, during a tournament he himself admitted he should have skipped but participated in nonetheless. This contrast is paramount. This is the truth Djokovic has spent 2 years subtly, respectfully, and admiringly hinting at, careful never to articulate it in a manner that could be sensationalized into a headline portraying him as petty. Yet, such a headline appeared anyway, because that's the nature of tennis media in 2026, and truthfully, he anticipated it would. The Madrid Open is currently in progress, with Sinner emerging as the top contender. The tournament bracket is exceptionally open, unlike anything seen in years, presenting a significant opportunity for various players to capitalize on the simultaneous absence of Alcaraz, Djokovic, and Fritz. While the event will undoubtedly generate its own narrative and crown a champion on May 3rd, the true underlying story of this Madrid Open, the one that will carry weight in 3 weeks when Roland Garros commences, is being shaped within recovery rooms, through physiotherapy sessions, and in candid dialogues between athletes and their medical staff. Djokovic is crafting his chapter of this narrative, and Alcaraz is writing his. The overarching question around which the entire 2026 tennis season is currently revolving is whether both will arrive in Paris sufficiently fit to challenge for the title that defines the clay court calendar. And Djokovic, with his calculated, intentional, and incisively precise communication, has already conveyed his probable answer. One merely needed to discern it beyond his expressed commendations. If this analysis has provided a unique perspective not found elsewhere, please subscribe to this channel immediately. Activate the bell notification to ensure you don't miss any forthcoming coverage of Rome and Roland Garros. This platform delves into narratives and insights that conventional tennis media often sidesteps, and the clay season is only intensifying. The upcoming weeks are poised to fundamentally reshape the dialogue surrounding Alcaraz, Djokovic, and Sinner. And you'll certainly want to be present for that unfolding development.